Hey guys, for today's video, for today's video we are gonna build another custom GPT. These are a lot of fun. In particular, I have an interesting one in mind. Nerds, in this video we are gonna build the next custom GPT in our team of novel building custom GPTs. This one is going to write the first draft, so it should be a lot of fun. Now we got our 6 prompt framework handy right here, and then I will go ahead and just to start off, I'm gonna copy that, drop it in. We're gonna create the best custom GPT ever made. We don't care who the primary user is. Task is to convert a plot outline for a novel of variable length, variable genre into a working first. Research the greatest people in the world who have done this task in this or similar context and describe their methods in great detail. Remember, since we're laser focused on the first draft, and already have the line prepared, we aren't worried about the conceptual stuff. We are a little bit worried about how it relates to the page, particularly in terms of upping our characters, but for the most part we're worried about concrete things that show immediate to outside observers. This includes nailing the tone by never being too much nor not enough. We also want to perfect pacing by never giving anything too much or too little page time. I'll just call it screen time. I know we're not supposed to use like filmmaking metaphors because that's in completely different medium, but I think it'll understand what we mean. Too much or too little screen time, but just the right amount to get the reaction we want from our readers. Okay, so note sometimes there will be details in the line that are important but can be referenced in a single section rather than an entire scene. We want our GPT to know the difference. We also want it to be a master of subtlety and when appropriate. We'll do that in a separate part. We also want it to be a master of subtlety and knowing how to show what something is without naming it. I'm not really sure how to this part of the prompt. I just know that when I've had AI write my books in the past, it has been as subtle as a punch in the face. And so in the past, I've dealt with that simply by not naming the thing that I want to subtly foreshadow and rather just describing the tone that I want the scene to hit or the specific action that I want to happen. But maybe here we can be a little more clever. We also want it to know how to be funny when appropriate by using proven methods from authors who put good jokes in their books, or if we can reference them without going too far overboard. Stage comedy. Okay, cool. Let's run it and see what it gives us. Should we have put specific genre experts in there? I don't know. I mean, we did with the last GPT because that felt like an important thing to do at the brainstorming phase. But honestly, we probably don't need to worry about it because, back when I was writing with AI last year, I only used, base ChatGPT and base Claude, and, they seem to know what tropes they should pull from when they were turning my outline into a first draft, and I never needed to prompt them extra to do that. So I think we'll be okay. While it's thinking about that, let's go ahead and grab our second prompt. This one creates the numbered list of steps that the GPT is going to use as a thought process. So it's outlined a first draft monster. I like how this thing thinks. By stealing ruthlessly from the very best, then distilling those methods into rules your custom GPT can execute. Okay? Immediately, Brandon Sanderson, let's go. Every unit of story, book, act, sequence, scene should make promises, show progress on them, and deliver payoffs. As you draft from an outline, every scene should declare what it's promising the reader, show concrete progress, and end with some form of payoff or setup. Teach the GPT to stamp each scene with its PPP before writing, and to cut anything that neither advances progress nor sets a promise. Ooh, Dwight V. Swain and Jack M. Bick. Scene, sequel, and MRUs. Draft scenes as goal, conflict, disaster. Follow with sequels as reaction, dilemma, decision. Okay. I do like that little kind of a two-part thing. I think that's gonna add some extra delicious texture to the promise, progress, payoff. Emma Darwin, psychic distance. This is good. I actually heard, I listen to a lot of like author advice on YouTube in my free time, and you know, they specifically tell us about psychic distance and that being a focus on creative writing classes in college. So I think we're onto a winner here. Teach the model to modulate narrative distance deliberately. Zoom. Okay. Show don't tell that actually ships pages. Hemingway's iceberg. Let the unsaid carry weight. I like that it's doing that because, again, base ChatGPT isn't terribly subtle, so you kind of have to bake in the subtext to when you're writing with it, so I like that it's doing that. Write with the door closed. No second guessing tone, polished during generation. Use scene by scene accounting. We could read on, but it gives you a lot on this first one. Okay, there we go. Now, based on these methods, create a list of numbered steps to guide its thought process. When writing these steps, think about it from the user's perspective. The first step should be as follows. If you don't have all the information you should have from the user, ask for it clearly and specifically. The last step should specify the output should take. Remember to write the list in markdown format. Let's run it. Now, the purpose of this prompt is pretty simple because usually when you're using a base LLM such as ChatGPT, it tends to make up the thought process that it uses as it goes, which introduces a lot of unwanted randomness in the quality of your results. So when you actually name the process that it should take, that's going to help it be like, oh, they want this and this and this, and you get more consistent quality results that way. Okay, we don't need it to list out the specific items that it should have from the user because those are what are called input guardrails, and they're something that we're actually about to brainstorm. So ingest the outline and build a scene inventory. Choose POV and set the psychic distance target. Label each scene value's turn. Interesting. I like that. Select humor policy per scene. Okay, maybe doing that like every scene would be a little too much, but we'll see how it goes during the testing phase, because a lot of building a top 1% performer custom GPT is just testing it, is honestly just playing around with it and seeing what it does. Okay, yeah, these are the 5 most common limitations of current LLMs: hallucinations, oververbosity, simplification, lazy pattern matching, and confident inaccuracy. Using this information, construct an LLM limitation defense clause to include in the system prompt. It should be comprehensive, concise, and functional given the GPT's context and task. Keep it limited to a single paragraph of 3 sentences at absolute max. So the purpose of this part is pretty simple. All we are really doing here is teaching the custom GPT to think outside the box, outside the limitations of current LLMs. Because if we don't do this part, We could do everything else right with setting up our AI agent or our custom GPT or whatever, and it's still going to be subject to the limitations that comes baked in. This is kind of our antidote, so to speak. And there you go. Limitation defense clause done. Now here's our input and output guardrails, okay? This is quite possibly the most important thing when it comes to building a great custom GPT, because input guardrails make sure that the stuff the human sends to the AI is of quality, isn't trash, we're quality checking it, and the output guardrails are reverse. So we are making sure that the stuff the GPT sends back to the human is good. So let's go ahead and run this. Oh, the humor policies on the input guardrails. Perfect. This is good. This is good because I was kind of worried that it would make up the humor policy as it goes. Let's see. Genre and subgenre. Good. Draft overview. Scene inventory. First draft prose. Condensed summaries. Quality pass checks. This is good, guys. Now for the really fun one, we're gonna build the knowledge base. This is a really important one because custom GPTs, when you build them, and I will get to show you the whole menu behind building them. Basically, there are places the custom GPT can come back to recall facts in order to help it do its job better. So kind of an example, say I needed to know exactly how much an elephant weighs. If I was talking to basic ChatGPT, it might be able to make a good guess based on what it knows about elephants, how long they live, how big they get, what they're made of, things like that. But if you have a custom GPT with the fact of how much an elephant plugged into its knowledge base, then that one will be able to give you exactly the right answer every time because it's right there. Now, a lot of people, when they first learn about this, they tend to get excited and like randomly dump PDFs into a knowledge base to see what it can do. That is how to create a document swamp, and it's not effective. What you want is a dense and valuable knowledge base. So in this prompt, I ask it to search around for, ebooks, other PDFs, stuff like that, and grade it based on these 4 criteria: density, accuracy, necessity, and structure. Each one gets a % score out of 100, and then they get added up. Only the ones that total near 400% across the 4 criteria should be in the list. Now we also have some instructions to, for example, include a knowledge base blueprint in the system prompt, just to help it navigate the information a little better, because especially when you use this framework, your databases can get quite large. We also have instructions, has instructions for creating custom files in case we need to do that. And let's go ahead and first of all, I'm gonna activate the thinking model. In fact, I'm gonna extend the thinking time just to see if that helps the quality of our response, and we'll go ahead and hit run. The thinking model is so cool. It's right like every single time. And look at this. You even get 2 options for how long you want it to think. So cool. While it's thinking about it, we are gonna go ahead and grab our final prompt. Nothing fancy. This one is just going to put together everything we've built so far. And let's hit copy. And here we go. Precision built knowledge base for your outline to first draft GPT. Each item is included only if it scores 370 to 400. Okay, this is good. If you remember from last time, guys, most of our files were landing in the 350 to 370 range when I usually want 370 and above. So I really appreciate this. Purpose link. Okay, cool. Now, just for an example, let's take a look at this penguinrandomhouse.com. Oh, this is a book. Look at that, everybody. The Elements of Fiction Writing, Scene and Structure by Jack M. Brickham. Awesome. Now, just to make sure it matches with the knowledge base, Brickham Scene and Structure book. Perfect. And now we are gonna drop in our final prompt. All we want it to do is take everything that we've just put together and make it into a system prompt. While it's writing that, I'd like to go into the GPT builder. So if you hit GPT's Explore, and up at the top, this will only be available for Plus users, so $20 a month and above. You'll see My GPTs and Create. So let's go ahead and hit Create, and we'll call it Novel Team 2 First Draft. And we're gonna copy this. Once you know it, it's over. Yeah, it's over our 8,000 characters. So let's go ahead. Yes, please. All right, let's try this one. Check that out, guys. It works. Writes first drafts from outlines. Okay, perfect. Now we are going to, these first three things are all user facing. They don't really affect how your custom GPT is gonna perform in the wild. You get to choose whether you want to upload a photo or just use DALL-E, ChatGPT's in-house image generator. Conversation starters, you can start a conversation here, and now that becomes a button you can use to start a conversation with your chatbot. Great for showing off its capabilities when you're building custom GPTs for other people, for clients. I mostly build them for myself, so I tend to leave this part alone. And here we go, knowledge. This is where you upload files to your knowledge base. Now let's check this out. Brigham scene. And when I get around to it, I'd like to add a couple other things just to make sure we're solid, since, you know, there was a couple dozen in there. Probably. The recommended model, I usually go for GPT-5 because it's best for most tasks. GPT-5 thinking is great, and I think it's underused, but most of the time, especially when you're doing a creative task, the thinking model just isn't that necessary. And then the GPT-4o, I don't really know why they've kept this model around, if I'm honest. It's kind of just there. GPT-5 is better in every way. Like, it's as fast as 4o, and it's the same price. I don't understand why it's there. And then actions are a bit technical, but yes, you can create a custom action. And there we go, guys. It made our picture. It's kind of dumb. It's fine, we're gonna use it. But yeah, when you're done, you can go ahead and hit create up here, and then you get a pick if it's just for you, or if anyone with a link can use it, or if you want to publish it on the GPT store, you can absolutely do that. I tend to go with anyone with a link. That way it's sort of private, like the only people who can really use it are the people that I give the link to. And then we just hit save, and look at that, our custom GPT is created. I'm gonna go ahead and copy the link to it in case I want to share it, and there is your button to view the GPT. So I hope you enjoyed this build video. I hope you learned a bit about how to build custom GPTs and maybe got inspired to try a build of your own. Feel free to leave a like, share your thoughts with the class, and before you subscribe, make sure you know what you're doing, because it ain't easy being at the top. We'll see you guys next time.